This is truck inspection for 775. This driver's log needs to be filled out every day. So we will go over the first section here. We need to fill in the date, the driver's name, the vehicle number, the start odometer, your payroll start, the time you leave the yard, lunch start and end, return to the yard, and job start location. All these need to be checked. We're going to go through that in this video here, and you're going to note any deficiencies you have with the truck so it can be fixed by the manager. So first we're going to show you how to pop the hood. We'll open the door, make sure it is secure and working. It is. This latch is down here by your left foot. You're going to pull that towards you. You'll hear the hood pop. We'll walk around to the front. On this truck, the latch sits in the middle. You'll lift that up to the left and it'll release the hood. We'll start from left to right. On this truck, all the way to the far back here, we've got our fuse box. Any issues, any problems, we want to come here to diagnose it. Make sure that the lid is on this so it doesn't get wet. We'll make sure our air box is intact. It's latched in there. It's good. Check our battery terminals. Make sure they're tight. They're not full of corrosion. If we need to clean them off, do that. Keep moving towards the front. We'll take a peek inside here. Make sure that our belt isn't frayed and it's on. It's not loose. We can check the fan, make sure it's not cracked. Our hoses, make sure there's no leaking, no wires broken. Overall, this looks pretty good on this side. So we've got our oil dipstick here. We're going to check this when the truck is not running. Pull the dipstick out, wipe it off, back in until it clicks. Good. Then back out. You can see on here, this is filled and this is good with clean oil. If you needed to fill this at all, right here is where you would fill it. It'll tell you 5W30 is what it takes. Take the cap off, put your funnel, and add oil slowly and keep checking it. Directly behind that is your transmission dipstick. This takes Mercon LV. We want to do this when the truck is running. Once it gets warm, place it in gear, come back out, check it. Same thing, we want to wipe the dipstick first, place it back in, and then back out. Obviously this truck isn't running, but in the case that it was, we would be good. I'll wipe it off so you can see it. You've got a do not add, and then you've got this section up here is where it would tell you that it was good. So you would want the level up around this line here before the do not add. Put that back in and we will keep moving along here. Next, we've got our power steering fluid, minimum maximum level. You would take this cap off. If you can't see, look inside and fill it if you needed to. Here is our coolant. We've got a minimum maximum level. This takes a 50-50 premix. Don't open this while the truck is running. This would be under pressure. So do this when the truck is off. Same thing, cap off, add, and then place it back on. Over here it's open. We can see our steering linkage in here. Make sure that there's nothing wrong with it. We can see there's no leaking or anything broken on this side. Looks pretty good. You've got wires over here. Make sure that they're intact. They're not broken. Next, we've got our brake fluid. This takes DOT4, minimum maximum level. This looks good. So we are good there. So that'll get us for everything underneath the hood. Oh, sorry, washer fluid. I forgot that. And then right in the front here is where your washer fluid is, if you need to fill that. That will take us underneath the hood and we will go inside the cab. Once you get into the cab of the truck, we want to make sure that we do have our driver's license on us and our medical card. Proper PPE that we need to wear for the day. Hard hat, pants, boots, long sleeve. So we'll start the truck up, make sure that our gauges are working. Looks like everything's good here. On this truck, we've got our mirrors, we would press the button in. Once it lights up, that will give us for a driver's side mirror. You've got your up and down arrows here to get it to where you need. And when you need to switch to the passenger side, you would click that and do the same. We've got our up and down for our windows. Let's make sure they work. They do. We've got our lock and unlock. It works. We've got our headlights. This is off, parking, and then your headlights on full. That's working. Make sure our horn works. Good. Our windshield is not cracked, frayed. Good. Our wipers are working. Our fluid is working. Down by my left foot here is where the parking brake is. You press that down with your foot. Pull the lever back. We'll channel over to the center of the console here. We've got our power button here to turn our AC or heat on. This is your fan speed. This is the cool. Cool is in blue. Heat is in red. We'll go down a little further here. We've got our arrow board control. This is currently on off. We're going to click that today. This is the modes. Arrows or 4 dots. We're going to keep it on 4 dots. You can see it come up on the display to let you know. And then you can check that when you get outside of the vehicle. You've got your two-way radio here. It's currently off. We would press the blue button. Hold that down. It turns on. This is your volume. This is your up and down to change the channel. We're on channel 2. That's where we're going to stay. Then your microphone is hooked up here. And take that off. Press the button on the inside here. Press that. Talk into it and make sure that you've got communication with your crew. All right, so last but not least, we'll make sure our seatbelt works. Click that in, make sure it's tight and it works, and it does. Now we'll go to the outside and make sure that our lights are working. All right, so we can see that our beacon lights are working on the truck. We've got headlights on currently. High beams. Left turn signal, right turn signal, 4 ways. Good. So that looks good. So we'll head towards the back here and do the same thing. All right, so we're at the back here. We can see our lights are working here. 4 ways. Left turn signal, right turn signal. Brake, reverse. Good. All right, so everything works there. I'll jump up here. We're in the process of fixing the arrow board here. See that it is working. I'll come back down. So everything is working light-wise here. Now we'll do the outside inspection. All right, so once we get to the outside of the truck, we're going to do a visual inspection. We'll come over to the front tire here, we'll kick it, we'll make sure that the tread is good, we'll check our shocks, make sure that in the front here we don't see anything leaking. You can check your brake lines, that they're not leaking. Get down, check the rotors. This has a cap on it. If the cap was off here, we would check to make sure that the lugs were tight and they weren't loose. We'll make sure our step is good, it's intact, it is. Everything on the arrow board is good. Our doors are shut. This takes gasoline only. We're going to label that. Make sure that when you that you got the tether here and you don't lose the cap. When you're finished, place it back on. 1 click, you hear it's good. Same thing, tire, hard, tread is good. Check in at the rotors. If this is off, which you could pop it off, check the lugs, make sure that they're tight. Leaf springs are good. Don't see anything hanging, anything broken. Look good there. Come to the back of the truck. We'll make sure that this is closing, and it is. If there's anything in the back, which currently we have, we would get all that out and get that secure so we're not driving around with that. Our license plate is on. The light did work. Everything's on. We've got our trailer plug here. We're good. Same thing here. Doors are shut. Tires hard. Tread is good. Leaf springs look good. Rotors. You can check your exhaust. Everything's intact. It looks good. Same thing here. We'll make sure we're secure. Our door opens and closes. Intact. It's not falling off. Last but not least, same thing again. Check that the tire's hard. We've got good tread. Check the rotors. Brakes if you can. Leaf springs. Shocks. Springs. Make sure your brake lines are good. Nothing's leaking from the engine. Overall, that looks pretty good. Came around front. We saw everything was intact. We had our license plate. So this truck overall is good, and that's an inspection for 775.